Boy, sorry about that, guys. Sometimes setting up the camera is a little tricky. All right, so I already showed you the sort of time lapse that I did with this cover. That's in part 1. And then here we go. Just finish up this other part here. I just wasn't able to record it live last time. I'm going to pretty much ink it all with this cheap watercolor brush, the Princeton number 2, nothing special. Let's see, I need some more light here. There we go. Get this wire out of the way. All right. So it was a little tricky for me to record these things because I'm splitting my attention between the recording and what I'm saying and what I'm making. So typically I just go right into it. I don't do too much warm-up stuff. I'm just going to begin with her face here. You can see that the brush is a little janky at the tip of it, but there's this interesting thing where you can kind of read the brush, meaning by looking at it, you can tell what kind of line work the tip is going to lay down. And then you sort of manipulate the brush to do the thing you want it to do. But weirdly, you do that not by forcing the brush, you're working with it, if that makes any sense. Also, while I'm hoping this turns out great and like the original looks all attractive and everything, the great news is if something doesn't work out, I can fix it in the digital stage, which takes a lot of pressure off. So one of the first things I'm doing is to just do the outline of the character. And when I'm doing an outline of a character, I try to keep the contours and stuff as simple as possible. Like to just, like here, coming to the ear. I'm not going to have the ear popping out of the outline. You know, I'm thinking about the silhouette of the character. Even with all the detail here, I'm thinking of like, what do the exterior lines look like? And how do I guide the eye with that? I keep promising on one of these days I'm going to record these live and answer some of your questions at the same time. We'll see if that ever happens. Yeah, mostly because I just try and concentrate on the work itself, and you know, it's hard to do that when you're splitting the attention and stuff. I'm not too sure how this is going to work out. I might end up reworking some of it digitally. It's a weird shaped gun. The way that it contours around her fists and stuff feels slightly awkward. I don't know if it's just my eyes or other people will feel the same. But I'm not going to let it slow me down because I got to get stuff done. So I'm just going to go into it, and again, I can adjust later in the digital stage. if I need to, you know. I hope you guys are digging the series so far. This is issue 5, and hopefully you're picking them all up, and you've got favorite characters and favorite moments. Mags writes some really fun characters. And let me know in the comments, what do you think? You having a good time? I hope so. It gets a little tricky here because of this sort of broken glass effect, this shatter effect. So I don't want to lose the shapes of costume or arms and stuff in here. Like, I almost thought this was part of her forearm, but that was a crack that I drew. And I almost read it wrong and inked it. Well, if I did, no big deal. Again, could fix it if you have to digitally. So far, the way it's coming together, and hopefully I'm not cursing myself, I don't think there's going to be too much adjusting afterwards. Pardon me. Oh, one thing about Chick, I don't remember, does she have gloves on? I don't know. I'll have to look. Just make sure I'm not going to smudge anything. Yeah, I think another reason why I don't do more of these videos is I just don't have too much to say. I just want to do the work. Like, the process of making comics is absolutely my favorite part. I'm really glad I continue to work analog, especially as I'm doing lots of stuff digitally these days. Working on simultaneously to this, I'm working on a BPRD story, and outside of a few pages that feature Hellboy, doing it all digitally. And I'm doing those Hellboy pages obviously for the resale, or maybe some gifting. But yeah, most of what I'm doing is digital. Although I just finished William of Newbury a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and that's all analog, except for the coloring. So I'll be black. Some highlights here and there. I don't think I'm going to spend time filling this stuff in. Maybe just a little here. And just off camera, I'm holding my ink bottle like right in my hand here, so I don't have to reach over too far. Now, luckily, I haven't spilled any ink in a very, very long time, but it happens. I haven't spilled ink on an art in a... It's happened. Let's not talk about it. I know. Even though you guys aren't listening to this live, if you do have questions, yeah, just post it below, and I check these. I check the comments every now and then. Luckily, my YouTube comment sections are not like other YouTube comment sections, and everybody's nice. So I do check them. I wish I used a fresh inkwell when I started this, because all of my brush lines have pulled up to the sides here so much I can't always see how deeply I'm dipping my brush. So sometimes I'm grabbing a lot more ink than I want to, and other times not enough. Now, if I wasn't recording this live, I would just put it all down and just, get myself a fresh inkwell. That's another reason why I don't record as many videos as I should. Again, just gotta concentrate on the work most of the time. I just did a podcast. That was a lot of fun. I do enjoy talking to people and whatnot about comics. I guess it's just harder when I'm actually working. Trying to figure out if I want a line here for her breasts or just leave this area negative. I think I'm just going to leave it negative. Just leave it open. Oh, it was killing me. I can't remember what I'm gonna have to leave her glove alone because I don't remember if this goes to black, to white, or I don't remember what's going on here. So I'm just gonna leave her open for now. But I'm not gonna let this slow me down. Let's just move ahead. Even as though she's holding the gun out to the side here, I'm gonna have her looking straight at us. There's this thing about having the character on a cover engaging the reader by looking directly at them that is almost always works. And I think this piece is probably better for it than if I have her looking off to the side here. Although, honestly, the way I'm looking at it now, it looks like she's kind of doing either. That's fine. I'm happy with it. I try not to be a perfectionist. It stifles everything. Also, it's the imperfections in art that makes it special, I think. That's what style is, you know? Van Gogh's didn't draw perfect lines, didn't perfect straight lines or anything like that. Klimt painted lines where they didn't need to be straight, but he made them straight. Flattened things out where they didn't need to be flattened, but looked even better that way. Not that I don't appreciate realistic art. I definitely do. I don't know, babbling. Yeah, I think her face worked out right, which is good because, you know, it's the face. So this is crazy. I don't have templates. I don't have circle templates that are going to work with this. Let me double check. Yeah, I don't have anything to work with that, so I'm going to freehand it. I'm going to freehand this, and then that will definitely be touched up digitally. Alright, so let's just get into it. The best thing you can do with this stuff for me is to just go in with a confident line. And that comes from a lot of practice. If you're just, I definitely find if I tried really hard to get this perfect, it just won't. And sometimes going quick and confident like this, it doesn't work out. You know, it's not a guarantee. I think maybe that top line, that's fairly successful. You know, it's not perfect here. It's a little flattened out, but I'm gonna live with it. Yeah, this stuff I'll definitely touch up digitally. I just should have planned it out better when I was doing my pencils. But far from perfect. But again, I can touch this up later digitally. And then even when I'm touching up digitally, I'm still going to make an attempt that it feels organic. You know, just because I don't want it to have sort of cold, over perfectioned kind of line. It's going to stand out as, at least in my mind, it'll stand out as not organic. It's funny, when I'm working digitally, I do a lot of messing up line work to like make it a little wobbly and stuff so that it feels more natural and real. Especially on architecture where I've got a lot of straight lines. Because I generally don't draw that way, I don't want it to come off like that in the inks. So sometimes I'm going in and just purposely adding a little wobbliness and some noise. These kind of Jack Kirby squiggly lines. I think if I just did a straight line going across her fingers to show the shadow and depth, I can't explain why the squiggly line works better, but it does. Alright, I'm getting close to wrapping this up. At least for the sake of the video. There'll probably be more work. And I mean, definitely you can see that that's drawn by hand. But I think what I'll probably end up doing is I'll draw digitally a circle, an ellipse around this, and but keep the original piece that I did and kind of clean it up, and it'll have some some fluctuation to it, and I think it'll come together. So I'm gonna do a little rendering on gun handle. Yeah, and like I said, I don't remember if she has gloves on or not, and I just don't have any reference anywhere near me. Let me look through my photos, see if I can find a previous cover. Yeah, a bunch of art and personal photos all mixed in together. Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah, it looks like it's a lighter color. I think maybe they're red, so I'm going to leave it open like this. Well, but I will do some, let's do some correlating on here. And this just gives it a little bit of depth. I'm not doing too much rendering, but I'm going to do a tiny bit in here. Alright, and when I have this all finished, I'll post the original finished piece for you. Let me get the rest of Odysseus up here. Yeah, I've been using this Karatuki brush pen for a long time. You'll see it on a lot of my videos, and I still really like it. I have discovered, and for this this rendering stuff here, there's something about like a real brush that will give you a minutia difference in each line, even if they're uniform. It'll still be just enough of a difference to keep it from feeling cold or too calculated. Organic. All right. Just use up the ink on this brush, and we'll call it. Now, that's that. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please post down below, and I'll see if I can answer them. Thanks for following, and please pick up Galaxy of Madness from Mad Cave. Oh, this is going to be messy.